In this video, I'm going to tell you which homeowner tax credits and refunds that you can get in the year that you purchased your home. Let's get going. Hi, I'm Susan Thetford, 35-year career realtor here in the Nashville, Tennessee area with Parks Properties. If you're new to my channel, I suggest you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. Here on my channel, we talk about all things Nashville and real estate, and you don't want to miss a thing. All right, homeownership has a lot of benefits, tax benefits, both in the year that you purchase the home and every year that you own your home. But this question comes up a lot with some of my new home buyers. And because we're at tax season, time to take a look. I always ask the question, hey Susan, we closed on our house last year. We can write off all of those expenses, right? Yes and no, because it all depends on what people often lump the whole idea of closing costs into all their fees, all the expenses that they entailed when they were buying their home. Those are not closing costs necessarily. So let's go through things that you can deduct in the tax year that you purchased your home. Yes, the term closing costs can be kind of tricky. Here are the costs that you can deduct from your taxes in the year that you purchased your home. Number one, the origination fee. Typically, if you get a loan, every single home loan will have a fee to originate the paperwork, to originate all the loan process. And that fee is a one-time fee, and you can absolutely write it off on your taxes. It is a tax deduction. Another cost in the year that you purchase the home that you can write off and deduct from your taxes is the interest income that was entailed during that home ownership period. So maybe you bought the home in September. Your monthly payments are coming in November and December. You have 2 months of interest payments that are a tax deduction to you for the time that you owned that property in that tax year. The third thing that you can write off on your taxes in the year that you purchased the home are any taxes that were due on the sale. Any of the taxes that your state infers or requires on that sale. There's a caveat to that in this tax year, and that is only homes $750,000 or below can write off the taxes that were incurred upon the purchase. So that's something to be sure to take up with your tax accountant. But up to $750,000, taxes incurred on that sale are a deduction. So if you'll remember, I said that when you bought a home, there are a lot of costs that you incurred way beyond just the down payment. One of those costs is the inspection fee. You buy the home, you want to have it inspected. Don't buy a home without getting it inspected. But the cost of doing that inspection is your cost, and it is not considered a tax deduction. It may cost $400, $500, but that is not a tax deduction in the year that you purchased the home. That's just a cost of making sure that that was a good investment for you. Another out-of-pocket fee is an appraisal fee. Again, $450 to $500 depending on where you are. But if you got a loan, your lender is requiring that an appraisal be performed to make sure that that loan, that home, meets at least the cost you paid for it. And that is a fee or charge that the lender is requiring you to pay if you want their loan, but it is not a tax deduction. Sorry about that. You got to do it, but you can't deduct it. A third out-of-pocket expense that you have, but you cannot expense it, is any attorney's fees that were incurred in the process of purchasing that home. Whether you paid for an attorney to look over the contract or had an attorney to represent you in the sale or the purchase, either way, attorney's fees are not a tax deduction. It's the way it is. Another cost that you will pay to buy that home, but you will not be able to get a refund on or a deduction, is your title costs. Now, typically here in Tennessee, the seller will pay for an owner's policy and the buyer will pay for a simultaneous issue. But either way, however it's negotiated, because it is a negotiable expense, however it is, it's not something you can write off on your taxes. Sorry, take that up with your congressman. And good luck with that. And finally, commissions are not a taxable deduction or taxable expense. It's the cost of being represented. Now, typically, again, back in Tennessee, the buyer does not pay commissions. It's paid by the seller. That's a whole other conversation. But if by chance you decide you want to go out and pay for your own representation, because maybe you buy for sale by owner and that for sale by owner is not allowing any realtors to come represent you, you can pay a realtor to say, come represent me, come work with me, come work with this whole process. I don't know how to find the inspector. I don't know what to do when the foundation is cracking. I don't want to talk to this seller and have to negotiate directly with him. I want you to represent me. That agent will want to be compensated for their time. You can understand that. And if you do that and you all negotiate a commission structure, that commission is not a tax deduction for you. It's probably the best money you've ever spent, unless you know how to negotiate appraisals and contracts and all that, but it's not a taxable expense that you can deduct from your taxes. Sorry. And this last one has nothing to do with buying a home, but many people, because our mortgage rates are so very low, are refinancing. Maybe they had a higher interest rate and they are refinancing to today's really amazing low rates. When you refinance, again, you will have some costs to refinance. You'll back to the appraisal, you'll back to have an origination fee. You will have costs to refinance, and they may be able to be rolled back. Check with your lender, but your costs to refinance are not a taxable or refundable deductible expense. It's just good long-term health for you and a lot more money in your pocket, potentially. So that's actually, let me know if you would like me to do a video on how do you know whether it's time to refinance. Maybe you've got a 5% interest rate and the rates right now are at 4%. You could possibly save $150 a month on your mortgage, but does it benefit you to go ahead and do a refi? Let me know if you'd like in the comments if you would like me to do that video. I can do that. So thus far we've been talking about the expenses that you can deduct, the refundable expenses you can deduct on your taxes in the year that you purchase your home. There are annual deductions that you can take for the life of the loan, for the life of the time that you've owned that home. And this is a big benefit of home ownership. The first one is any interest expense that you incur for the time that you own the home. So if you own the home for 12 months and you pay $1,500 a month in mortgage, and it's the second year, approximately 98% of that is all interest. That interest that you pay on the mortgage monthly, added all together, is a tax deduction in that year. So that's a big one. That's a big one. Those are annual deductions though. Got it? Got it. And another annual deduction that you will have as long as you own the property is the property taxes. Property taxes on home ownership is a tax deduction. So while that home is increasing in value, possibly, over time, the interest deductions and the tax deductions of the property, you get to deduct from your income, and then when you sell it, you have the benefit of that growth. Lots of home ownership benefits. Again, it's not for everybody. I totally agree with Gary Vaynerchuk. The whole picture is what's so important. And that's why you need someone to help walk you through that whole process to see if it's a good picture that fits into your goals. So I hope this is helpful. Please, as I say, I do all kinds of videos about home ownership, buying and selling homes, getting a home ready for sale, all the things related to real estate. But I'll also bring you the people, places, and things that make Nashville be the it city today. I love my city, and I want to introduce you to some of the great things about us. So please like my channel, subscribe, find me on social. Let's get more social. Love to get to know you. See you next time.